This video is going to be for the first floor staircase framing for the grade 12 house assignment. So let's just take a look at our instructions. The first thing you're going to want to look at is this measurement right here. And that's basically going to help you locate where the stairs start relative to the front of the house. So from this board here, the inside of that board over to the outside of that board is 11 feet 10.5 inches. So let's start with that measurement. Let's go over here. I'm going to use the top of this board only because if I do the bottom, it's going to be difficult to see. So let's go 11 feet space 10.5 inches. Okay. Now there's our mark. Let's go get our pencil. And we're going to scribe down to here. Make sure you know the color format of your directions. Blue is straight down. Let's go back to our document. And 10 feet from the wall till the end of that wall. Okay. Let's go back to SketchUp. And we're going to type in 10 feet, enter. Okay. Now let's check out the next dimension, which unfortunately I chose to put down a few pages. And the next dimension is outside to outside, which is 3 feet 8 inches. So let's just go over to SketchUp. 3 feet 8 inches. Now that's going to be our basic size for the staircase. Okay. So let's start by laying down the bottom board, which goes along the bottom of this wall and every wall. And it goes down to that 10-foot location. So I've already got a board sitting out there from our lumber pile, ready to go. And this board is going to go on the interior of that line. I'll make it unique. Let's edit this component. Okay, let's get rid of this portion that we don't need. Okay. Let's get out of that. And I'm just going to double check over here. So this view gives you a pretty good idea. You're going to use the same board on both sides. So let's go over here. And we're going to copy this board. Place it right there. Okay. Now normally I would just grab a board from the wall. This particular example has the boards are not the correct size in the wall, so I'm going to keep using the boards that I brought in for the bottom here. I'm going to just kind of grab one of these like so, and we're going to use that. I'll just take it out here where I can spin it. Make it 90 degrees. Okay. I'm going to place it there. And I'm going to place it over here. And I like to go start to end. And then I like to make my copies. And as always, pick up the component by the corner and place it by the corner. Okay. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to copy my boards. Now, for the most part, your spacing is 1 foot 4 inches or 12 or 16 inches. And it gets a little different over here, and I'm going to address that momentarily. But I'm going to start out with making them all 1 foot 4 or 16 inches. And then we'll just make some adjustments over there. Okay. I'm going to go copy that, keeping it on the line, not clicking. I'm going to go 16 inches, enter. Then I'm going to go X, and let's see, I'll go with the number 8, enter. See how close I got. Looks like I guessed one too many. I got one out here. Okay. Okay, there we go. That wall's done. And let's do this wall. You can pretty much put it wherever you want. Just don't click. Make sure it's on the line. Go 16 inches. Then go X. Let's go 7 this time. Enter. Perfect. Okay, both our walls are done. Okay, so before we get too far, I'm going to make a little change. I'm going to edit this component. I'm going to push this down so it's even with the bottom of this board or the top of that board, depending on how you want to look at it, because we still have to put our cap boards on. Okay, so that's done. Let's take a look at our stuff now. So this board here has pretty normal spacing. So if I look at this diagram right here, this board here is this board here. So what I want to do is I've got this board, 1, 2, and I've got this board here. So I've got 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to count over 3 boards because this board here currently does not exist in this drawing. So if you look at this dimension, it's 1 foot 7 inches. That's 3 inches more than what it is now. So if I go, count them off with me, 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to move this one over 3 inches. So let's do that now. 1, 2, 3. We're going to move it. Oops. We're not going to copy it. We're going to move it. Type in 3 inches, enter. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to so let's now look at the height for this landing right here. So that's what our next step is going to be, to establish the height of this landing and trim these boards. Now there is an error here. See this? You don't really see the top cap board, you see it on this side. So I'm going to make that corrected in my demonstration. And if we look at this, here's our dimension right here, 4 foot 5 inches. That's from the top of this board to the top of, or the bottom of this board, or the top of this right here. So 4 foot 5 inches is what we're going to go for. Okay. Let's get our tape measure and measure up 4 foot 5 inches. There's our mark. Now, I want to just change these and not those. Okay, let's go in here and we're going to, these 4 boards here, let's make each one unique. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, we've already identified our height, which is 4 foot 5 inches. And let's grab our tape measure. And from here, let's just go up 4 foot 5 inches. Okay, and now I'm going to add a temporary work line across here, so you don't have to draw this every single time. And now what we'll do is I'm going to edit this component here. I've got this line already. I'll just go over top of it. Then I can push this out of the way. And I can do the same thing to those others. Should be in edit component mode. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we have this side completed. We can get rid of that line. We don't need that anymore. Let's go over here. And we've got our 4 boards here. We're just going to make our construction line. And we'll do it outside of the active. Get our line across. And now we can edit these individual components. By now, some of you are probably thinking, oh, if you would have done those individually, you could have edited them all at once. That's true. Unfortunately, the way I created them necessitated this. So okay, got that done, and we'll just erase this. Okay, now let's double check some of our measurements here. So 4'5" is to the top here. Okay, so let's just quickly wrap around here. 4'5". I mentioned before there was a bit of a mistake because we didn't see this board on this side. So now we're going to have to push these boards down to compensate for the thickness of that board, unfortunately. My apologies for that. So we're going to come back and we're going to push these down 1.5. Okay. This demonstration was not rehearsed. If it was, it'd be mistake-free. So we've got our first one brought down 1.5. Let's go over here and we're going to edit this one as well. Okay. Okay. Let me just line that up. It looks copacetic. Now make sure when you're pushing these down and you're referencing another board, make sure you reference an intersection or a corner and not a surface. Otherwise, it won't really work. Okay? I know grabbing that surface might be a little more tempting. It's a little easier. Okay. Now let's borrow one of these boards. And turn it 90. Okay. Don't forget to make it unique. And we'll make that unique. We'll edit our unique component. Okay. That is complete. Okay. Okay, now what we're going to do is, I believe it is shown up here. These boards here are 5.5. So I have one going across and going across both ways as well. So let's, 5.5 would be a 2x6. So let's go over to our lumber pile. I'll grab the smallest one there, which is 8 feet long. Okay. Bring that over. We'll give it a spin. Okay. Put that in place. Well, let's make it unique before we go too far. Okay. Let's this right here. And if we double check our view, there's a second board here. And let's So I was talking about the second board that you see right here. This board here is actually that interior board. So if you want, before we go too far, you can just bring this board over like so. Now it matches the photo. Okay. Let's grab our board over here. Drop it off. Now let's do a little copy. Spin it. So we're going to have to probably make this unique, because I don't believe it's the same length. Before we do that, we might as well just move this one as well. Okay. Okay. So we'll make that unique and make that one unique. Edit this one, we'll bring it over to there. And we'll just bring this one over as well. Okay. Let's see, now we're going to just put a rectangle on top. Okay, now for good measure, I would like to see, it does not show it in the example, but I would like to see a little bit of a thickness. A 0.750 thickness would be good. Okay. And let's bring this over here. And we're going to copy this board over, just like we did on the other side. Okay. Okay. Now, one thing we have to add is on this other side, we've got an additional wall. Okay. So let's use some of these boards for this additional wall, because you only have a stair on one side, the other side is a wall. So let's just borrow a board and let's make this one unique now, because we're going to make some changes, and it'd be good to save some time. Let's copy this board here and let's type in 16 inches and let's type in ×2. There we go. That'll work. Okay. Now let's make these boards the same. Edit that component. and bring it up to there. Okay. Now let's bring this board, bottom board. We'll copy that over and drop it off like so. And we could use one on the other side as well. And we're going to have to trim this one though, because we're going to have stairs coming up over there. That's okay. So this one, we're not going to have a wall, we're going to have stairs coming up. Make that unique, edit our unique component, draw our line, and push it out of the way. Okay. So both those walls look fairly complete. Now let's address the doorway. By now some of you have already asked, should I cut this out now? We can deal with that in a later assignment. Okay, so let's look at right here. So that's a 9.5 inch tall board. It shows it as one, but in actuality it's actually two boards. Okay, so let's check out our height, just to make sure we know what we're looking at for that doorway. So it shows a board here and a board here, and that board is going to be 6 foot 9 inches tall before we put down our 9.5 inch board. So 6 foot 9. Okay, let's get to work on that. Let's borrow one of these. And what we could do is, while it's still blue, here's what you can do. If you want to just keep your perspective and not have to zoom in and out, make it blue. Put this down on a flat, like there, and then move it over. Okay, so let's just put this here and make this unique. Okay, now let's copy this over, and there we go. So I believe we said it was 6 foot 9 inches. Get out that tape measure. Okay. 6 foot 9 inches. Okay. Let's edit these components. And okay. This is going to require a visit to the lumber pile. 9.5 is a 2 by 10. So let's borrow this, copy it. It's already orientated in the right direction. So let's make sure we're grabbing it by the proper corner. Make that unique. Edit this component. And let's push this out of the way. Okay. Now, the drawing shows it as one solid board, which it's actually not. If you want to make it into one solid board, you can. Or you can just do this. Copy it over and drop it out. Now there'll be a space, that's okay. Not an issue. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we've got, so we got our boards and they're going up to the top. Let's get some of our boards here. Okay. Let's go like this, make this one unique. let's copy this one here. Like so. And let's add a couple more boards. So 16 inches. And I guess you could add 2 if you want. You can get away with 1. Okay, so let's trim this board here. Push this out of the way. Okay. Now we're going to need a cap board for this. So let's just bring one of these out. Or wherever we can use it. Okay, let's spin that around. And make it unique before you forget. Put this over here. Obviously too short, so we will just edit it. Rectify that situation. And click on there. Okay. And that is that for the frame going to the staircase, with the exception of one more thing. One more thing is you're going to have to add some overlapping caps. So we'll just add this board here. Just keeps everything together. Okay. Make it unique. This will overlap here. Oops. Not what I was looking to do. Okay. Get this board here. Make it unique. Scribe a line. And place it there. Right about there. And I'll push that out of the way. And this one here. Okay. Make it unique. And let's okay. Okay. That's the framing for the staircase. Pretty much. Now I would add a few more boards in the wall here. So I would copy this one over. And these are your nailers. Right there, like so. And let's bring this one over as well. So now when you put a piece of drywall, you've got something to nail in both corners. Okay. Same with here. Now, In order to get full marks, you will have to put in the dimensions. These are the dimensions that I've got. If you want to put them in I'm just going to get rid of this floor for the moment, just so that we can kind of see some of this stuff. Now, I'm not going to go through every single dimension, but try to get as many dimensions as you can in order to get full marks. That's it.